This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, Ira. I was, last night's game was not something that I was, it lost all its sexiness because of the three players. But what I've seen in the past is Heat teams that then play down to their competition and then they give a stupid game away. And we have, that's been a habit that's kind of like erased a little bit here this season. Overall, Miami is not giving away the games that they should obviously win. And to me, that was what I needed to see last night. I just needed you to take care of business because this is a free W and it's a long season. Take this W, dude, put it in your stockpile because that will help you, down the line.
And I think what happened last Wednesday against the Cavaliers when Donovan Mitchell and their power forward, I'm drawing a blank here right now, Evan Mobley didn't play and the Heat lost. I think you always have one of those this season also as a wake-up call. As, hey, there still are NBA quality players. There still are NBA quality coaches. You can find a way. You give Steve Kerr an opening. He will drive Pat Spencer right through you. So I think because of what happened to Cleveland, every team gets one of those mulligans, one of those, how the hell did you lose to that team? And I think the Heat, it took 3 quarters for them to wake up. But yes, they recognize in previous seasons, you're right, Big O.
It was habitual. It was habitual in previous seasons.
And there wasn't a cohesion. And we know that now from that Jimmy Butler wasn't tied to his teammates. We saw that after the game again last night. These guys are tied together. And these guys have a respect for the moment. And these guys have a respect that even if a Norman Powell is struggling, get him the ball late. That even if a kel'el Ware isn't starting, appreciate the rebounds. That even if Drew Smith doesn't get the numbers, he'll give you the effort to provide the energy in a languid game. They really are 8, 9, 10 guys on a string this season. And it's a really nice thing to see, just like how the Panthers can roll over quality lines and get quality throughout. We're seeing the Heat do that. And that's why if Niko Jovic falls any further behind, now that Bam is back, now that Tyler's coming back next week, he's going to get lost in the dust because there are a lot of guys from Pelle Larsson to Jaime Jaquez to Drew Smith playing so well, you either step up your game or you're going to have to step out.
Yeah. And Jaime played a nice all-around game last night. What I really like is, and this is why he's the best in the business, I love the adjustment that Spo made with kel'el Ware, where he's like, yo, kid, just stick around the paint and create havoc and do your thing. We don't need you out in three-point land and all that kind of stuff. And now when you have Bam now, he's more suited to do more of that stuff out there. Plus, he's working on his three-point shot and those kind of things. But I love how they have kept Ware around the paint, and he is becoming a force that way.
They need one word from kel'el Ware. One, relentless. He has to be relentless. Right. And if relentless means only relentless in 18 or 19 minutes, then play those 18 or 19 minutes your hardest. And he did that. And he was the rebounder that he needed because even with the undersized lineups, they still found themselves in trouble against the Warriors. The offensive rebound's still a concern, something they have to work through. But again, what you want from these guys is a moment, unlike the Hassan numbers, where they contributed to a win, where they got your team back on the right foot, where the numbers were meaningful, they came in victory. So, yeah, last night, even though he stepped back to the bench, was a step forward from kel'el and something they'll need more of.
Yeah, I like what I've seen from him. I don't want him, that I know he can shoot the three, but I like him being more around the paint because I think he's just that much more, effective. Also, Larsson looks like he's in a groove now, right? Like it looks like he's found a place in this rotation now.
Well, not even a place in the rotation, but Eric Spoelstra had an opportunity, a chance yesterday to put him back to the bench and start kel'el. And he basically looked through his lineup and he said, well, I can't bench Davion. He's been an assist machine playing great. I can't bench Norm because he's among the leading scorers in the league. I can't bench Wiggins because he's that two-way player we have to have in our starting lineup because he can defend the challenge need be. So then you look at Pelle and he's like, well, damn it, we're winning and we're playing well with this guy. And he does this stuff. Now, eventually, I think when Tyler's back and Bam's up to speed, you might see Pelle move back to that second unit. But you will not see him drop out of the rotation. And again, like I mentioned and previewed before, if Nikola Jovic doesn't step up, he'll be the guy who'll fall out of the rotation. Because let's just go with a mock lineup. Let's say they start, just for argument's sake, let's say they start kel'el and Bam and Tyler and Norm and Wiggs. So then you're going to have Davion with the second unit, and you're going to have Jaime Jaquez with the second unit, and you're going to have Pella Larson with the second unit, and you're going to have maybe Simone Fontecchio, who again is providing the threes you need. So Nikola Jovic is sort of on call. Yes, he has the extension. Yes, there's a long view with him. He's still only 22. There's still time. But he's been really bad this season. And at some point, we know who the Heat are. You and I have spoken on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report about developmental program, and they got the kids in there. But they've made it clear, Big O, they're playing to win. And they will develop on the side, which they have, which they're doing with Kasparis Jakacionis up in Sioux Falls. They have ways to develop even when you're not playing. So I really think, I would not have said this. If you said to me, Ira, they're 9 or 10 deep, who's going to be the odd man out? I would not in September or October have told you, I think it could be Niko Jovic. But you know what, Big O? If this is a meritocracy, then right now, the merit lines show that he's sort of on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and that makes all the sense in the world, and he can't bitch and complain about that. He's got to make a difference on his own, and it's just up to the kid. Now, again, he's still young as hell. We thought we lost Jaquez last year, and then he kind of found himself. So this is all part of the growing process.
It goes up and down. It goes, when you're a super stud, like a Cooper Flagg or someone drafted like that, the expectation is greatness every night because you have the pedigree. When you're a Jaquez drafted after the lottery, a Jovic drafted at the end of the first round, there's a reason. And the reason is on the tape and in the interviews and everything, there's no sign of that consistency of greatness. So you take a chance. Hey, sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it takes years. The Heat have the time to, number one, be patient while still playing to win. And that's sort of the thing we know. Hey, say what you want. The Heat have their own lottery pick this year. We could talk. This is a great draft at the top. They're not going to do that. If it happens organically, if Bam goes out again, if Tyler goes out again, if Norm Powell goes out again, it might happen. But right now, it's all about the W's, as they showed against the Knicks on Monday, and they showed last night in that victory against the shorthanded Warriors team.
It's funny because in another sport, in the Dolphins, you're a lot of, we should tank and see, it also creates a losing mentality.
Correct.
And so the Heat refuse to be in that kind of mentality on a consistent basis. No matter what, they're trying to win. And where I give them credit is they have enough young guys where they're not forced to put Jovic in there if he's struggling.
And they're still developing. And they're still developing. Because even if Jovic doesn't play, you're still developing Jaime Jaquez. You're still developing kel'el Ware. You're still developing the kid up in Sioux Falls. Kasparis will get his chance, but he's getting his minutes now, and that's important. So you're still doing that throughout your rotation, featuring your youngish players. So you have a nice mid-range. You have guys who've been here for a while. You have a future. But you still better get it done on some level, at least, gearing in that direction. Absolutely.
How is Kasparis eating in the D League or G League?
You know what? The turnovers are still there. The same thing we saw at Illinois, but that's fine. Let him get it out of his system. Let him learn that this is a faster, stronger level. He has been uneven. He has 10 turnovers in his 2 appearances there. Great. They have a great coach up there in Dan Bisacchio, the former Heat Summer League coach and video coordinator, same system the Heat is running. That's what he needs right now. Because if he was down here, there would be people on your text line who would be saying, you got to play the kid. He's got to grow. They are playing the kid. He is growing. He's playing against guys who have NBA experience, whether it's Ethan Thompson, who had the big 40-point game the other day for Sioux Falls, who was with the Heat, who was with the Magic last season, Trevor Keels, who was with the Knicks previously. So he's playing alongside quality. He's going to be going against the Wisconsin Herd, who have Victor Oladipo and NBA players. Fine. But you know what? The 10 turnovers there don't lead to an NBA L, which is perfect way to do it. And again, the one thing is, you might laugh at the name Sioux Falls Skyforce. You might mock the fact they're in South Dakota, but they have done it. They have proven it, from the Tyler Johnsons to the Duncan Robinsons. Yeah. You put Heat players in that lab, they wind up as better NBA players.
Yeah, because it's all set under the same guidelines, man. And all the expectations are there from
Yes, that's the word,
where you're at
expectations.
to where you're
Absolutely.
going. It's all the same kind of demands. So that's definitely. I mean, the Duncan Robinson stuff, everything has developed from that place. Has been out. The one thing that you got to give the Heat credit is that while they're always fishing for that whale, if they can get it, that's fine. But they have now committed themselves over the last 10 years to be more of a developmental team too, which is not something that they were of, the first couple of decades under
Because with
Riley.
the salary cap, you see it in football and other
Right.
sports, you have limited resources. It's not like, oh, we're going to go on the luxury tax and, oh, we're going to go over the second apron. They've changed everything. They've narrowed the gap. The thing of we can have 2 current superstars and 2 former superstars and 5 guys on max contracts. You can't. You can't. It's not necessarily the hard cap of the NHL, but it's getting pretty much closer. If you don't have that pipeline, all of a sudden you age your star out and guys have to walk. The Celtics were dealing with that. That's why they got rid of Porzingis. That's why they got rid of Drew Holiday. You can't. You have to have pipeline as well.
I got to tell you, the guy that it looked like from afar, because you get to deal with him every day, Norman Powell has always been like a key contributor on all his teams. Now he gets to be a key leader on a team. And to me, it looks like he's really embracing that part of it, because he's going to get paid wherever he goes, because everybody needs a Norman Powell on their team. But they may not need his leadership because they may have superstars on that team. With this not being a team of superstars, this is such a perfect fit, dude. And it just seems like he really loves the role.
I'm going to say for now, Big O, for this reason, using your own terms, Bam Adebayo is a super role player, so he's not going to step on someone's feet. He's not going to get in the way on offense. But we have yet to see Norman Powell and Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro fancies himself as an all-star, as a superstar, as an elite scorer. Where you get into problems, and even Norm Powell where he's limited, when Norm Powell tried to play with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, he wasn't the same player. Then Kawhi spent a whole season getting hurt. Then James Harden played more off as more of a playmaker with his assists, and Norman got featured with the Clippers. So as much as the Norman Powell experience has been outstanding, this is still a team that has Tyler Herro on a roster. This is still a team that by the time I talk to you next week may have Tyler Herro back on the court. I need to see how it fits with Norman Powell and Tyler Herro. And I'm not talking contracts, although that's a factor. But the Heat's going to have to make a decision on that, Big O. They're going to have to say, you know what? It's been working so well with this. How does Tyler factor in? And if Tyler wants his extension next summer and Norm wants his extension this season, you know what? It's a little bit of eggshells there also. Now you have the Grand Master, where you have the sort of the king of it all in Eric Spoelstra, who can handle all that. But you know what? Money matters. Norm wants his. Tyler wants his. Bam has already gotten his. So I think before we make judgments on Norm Powell, who's been fantastic to this point, I need to see how it works with Tyler Herro.
Yeah, I mean, the part with Tyler Herro that I don't know is how it's going to work defensively. Will there be a bit of a drop-off because of that? But I will say this. I have, you know me, I have all the faith in the world that Spo has already played chess way before us.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's already envisioned how this offense is going to run with both of them on the court. So as long as they're professionals, I would imagine, and they're both passers, by the way, they're both willing to get other people involved. They should be able to work out. Now, the dynamics of it, that's what's the intriguing part of it, that how much does adding Tyler change the dynamics of everything, because somebody's going to shoot less. There's no doubt about that. Or others are going to shoot less because Tyler's going to shoot a lot more than the average person. So, yeah, the dynamics are going to be very interesting. But if I just have all the faith in the world that Spo will know exactly what the hell to do.
Yeah, I think he'll probably placate them and start them both because it is an ego thing. But I think you will see the minutes staggered. It won't necessarily only be either or with Tyler and Norm. But when Tyler goes out, Norm comes in. When Norm comes in, Tyler, they'll go back and forth. So I would say in the game, there probably would be a good 15 to 18-minute pocket for each player to be the primary scorer. And then like we always see in the NBA, last 4 to 6 minutes, the hot hand wins the day.
Right,
If it's
exactly.
Tyler, maybe Norm doesn't play as much. If it's Norm, you get another defender like Davion or Wiggs in there instead to be the defender. So I think they both start and you tolerate it. It's not optimal to have those kind of defenders out there, but it's the start of a game. The other team can start cold, and then you'll see the stagger because you cycle through rotation. So like you said, Eric Spoelstra's already been in the lab. I can see this team having run like 10,000 simulations with the two of them and how it works, and literally having a spreadsheet to show, okay, at 4 minutes and 28 seconds in, we take off Norm. 3 minutes and 42 seconds later, we bring in Tyler. And there'll be a way to plot it out so both can have pockets to be the go-to scorer, and at other times learn to play with each other as well.
No doubt about it. All right, what else you working on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
You know, I wrote an interesting story. Bam was interesting. He said, look, you guys think not playing is easy. What the training staff and the hell they put us through, I'd rather be on the court than have to be with our trainer, Wes Brown. It was really funny after the game. But you know what, Big O, whether you call him a star or not, a max player or not, like you call him a super role player here in our accurate Pembroke Pines report, he is so damn valuable. And he makes such a damn difference for this team. Yes, they were 4-2 in his absence. But if you're looking to go somewhere and get somewhere, you can see the tangible difference that he made. So I wrote a story about that today. I wrote a story about Norman Powell in my Ask Ira. You know, if it's just if this is becoming Norman Powell's team, and like I said, we'll see it more when Tyler's back. But usually at the end of a season, you say this was Jimmy Butler's team. This was Tyler Herro's team. It will be curious to see how it plays out. And the other thing I'm working on a story right now is how's it going to play out with kel'el? Will he be content with 18 minutes? Will Smo have to start or play him and Bam together more? And I think that's something that could be put on hold while Nikola Jovic is dealing with his hip injury. They're flying to Chicago now. We'll find out a little bit more later. Still don't have a text on that. But again, with Nico out, I think you can stagger Bam and Nico, Bam and kel'el, because you need a big on the court at all times. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see in Chicago what Vucevic does when kel'el's in there. Embiid plays on Sunday in Philadelphia, how kel'el deals with that. So there's still a lot of growing pains and lessons to be learned by kel'el. But last night was a step forward because you know what? The easiest part of the equation is grab the damn ball. And he did it last night.
He did it. 16 rebounds yesterday. That was absolutely awesome. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And you can catch him weekly doing his thing here with the accurate Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We will catch up next week.
Catch up with you next week. Back from the road. Thanks, Big O.
Got it. Safe travels, my friend. There you go. And, of course, Acura Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you at Craig's Inns. Acura of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.